Okay, we're a few steps closer now. We might get that bolted in here today. After wrestling with the bell housing yesterday and clearance and everything to fit the release bearing and slave cylinder and the hydraulic lines, we got it bolted in there. Went back to putting the fuel pressure regulator there next to the power module. It might work. I had it over here for a while, but I don't know. The problem is the gauge. The gauge sticks out really far. So what we may end up doing is maybe we'll put a 90 on that so the gauge faces up. Because right now it's going to be probably right about over the valley of the engine, right about where the oil pressure sender is. And as you know, we're probably going to put 2 oil pressure senders on, one to run the gauge in the car, and the other one would be the factory LS one, which the power module, the MSD system will want to see. I mean, we don't have to run the one for the MSD, but having run redundant oil pressure gauges, I think is probably a good thing. So we're going to try to get that to work. And with this bell housing, I'm just going to double check the depth of the drive shaft. You know, put a straight edge across the bell housing and measure how far back it should be. It should be something like 3/4 of an inch or half an inch, somewhere in there, maybe 3/8. Measure that real quick. If that comes out right, I don't think there's a whole lot else we need to do to put the engine in. Oh, one thing we need to do is did all this engine prep yesterday, and one thing I totally forgot is I have a new set of valve cover gaskets that I want to put on there, but that shouldn't take long at all. I mean, I would just use the valve cover gaskets that are on there, but then I realized in this installation, passenger side one's probably not that big of a deal to change. The driver side one is kind of under the brake master cylinder, so if it turns out to be a leaker and you have to change it, it's going to be a real bear. So we're just going to put new ones on with it sitting out here. That way we won't have to worry about it. Okay, let me get back to it. Well, that good luck was short-lived. I just measured the how far back the nose of the drive shaft is from the face of this bell housing, and it's 11/16, which is 3/16 more than ½ inch. And so that would mean that the nose of the drive shaft would just barely get inside the pilot bearing, which really isn't good. Not good at all. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do about that. I mean, since we're running into this kind of problem fairly often, my thought would be to take the adapter plate, the aluminum adapter plate that adapts the bell housing to the torque tube, and it's fairly thick. I don't think it would hurt it at all if you milled a 1/4 inch out of it. And that would completely solve this problem that we keep running into. So I'll call up the guys at Renegade Hybrid, see what they got to say, and even before I do that, I'll see if I can have a chat with a local machine shop. I've never found a local machine shop since I've lived here, though, so maybe they don't exist. But I would imagine there's one somewhere. But yeah, well, I guess we'll go and change the valve covers. Valve cover gaskets on this thing, so that's ready, and that'll be about it for this weekend. Sorry, no bolt in. Oh well.